Hello. This week in Israel we read Parshat Matot, and I would like to discuss Reuven and Gad's approach when they went to Moshe and Elazar the Kohen and the leaders of the assembly, because as the Torah tells us, they saw that the land of Gilad and Yazir was great for livestock, and they had a lot of livestock. Now, Or HaChaim tells us that the reason why they were more abundant in their livestock was because they had this great military prowess, and was in great part due to them that they won these battles, and therefore they were able to take a lot of the plunder for themselves, and they had more livestock than everybody else because of that. Now, I want to show how their diplomacy had really improved when they came to the leaders and they wanted to request that they be able to not cross the Jordan and stay in this land. What they did was, the first thing they did was enumerated all of the places that they helped to conquer. As it says right away, that was the first thing out of their mouths. They said Atarot, Dibon, Yazir, Nimrah, Cheshbon, El Ala, Svam, Nevo, Be'on, all of these places. But they didn't say that we conquered. They said that Asher Hika Hashem, that God had destroyed, that they're good for livestock, and we have plenty of livestock, so please don't cross us over the Jordan. If we have found favor in your eyes, let us stay here and have this land as an inheritance. Now, the reason why this is smart and very diplomatic was because what they were saying, if you read between the lines, is they enumerated all of these places and said, look, we helped fight all of these places, and we helped win these battles, and so we do have a claim that we can keep this land and stay here with our livestock. But what they're saying, they knew that the next thing in the argument would Moshe and the leaders can come back and say to them is, yes, you won all these battles, and we're about to go into the land, and we're about to have many battles in order to conquer it, and we need you. You're the fighters. You have this great military abilities, and we can use you when we go into the land. So they emphasized right away, Asher Hika Hashem, that God had destroyed, that it was, yes, we did it, and therefore we can stay here and we have claim to it, but you don't need us, because they played on the fact that the leaders all had great emunah, and they all believed in God, and they all knew whatever God's will would be in the end, and that it doesn't depend on Reuven and Gad in order to win the battles. Whatever God's will is will prevail in the end. So they emphasize that God won the battle, to say, don't use that argument, because God will help you with that. But what Moshe came back and responded was, you're missing a big chunk of this. What you don't understand is, yes, it is God who wins the battles, but you have to think of the people. What are the people going to think when the people who you, God and Reuven, who have this great military might and ability, don't want to go into the land? That's going to increase their fear. They're going to say, we can't win these battles without them. Just because we have the emunah doesn't mean that they don't need the moral support, and they don't need the physical help of your military abilities. And you're going to instill fear in the people. If you, who have the greatest military might, won't go in, you're going to do the same thing that the spies did. Now, why is it the same thing that the spies did? The spies, he said, went in and they went to Eshcol and they saw the good of the land, and they should have come back and boosted the morale of the people to go into the land, but instead they focused on the fact of the military. And if Reuven and Gad don't go in, that's going to be what's going to prevail in the people's mind. We can't do this, we can't win these wars, and it's going to take away from any of their joy or their fervor for going into the land. And that maybe, even though that they know that God will win the wars, it doesn't take away from the fact that the people need them. They need the Areivut. They need their moral support, their physical support. They need the nation as a whole. And what they were missing, Moshe emphasized, was that the spies, he says, they didn't follow God's will fully. And the fullness of what God wanted was for the people to be one and united and to go in and to go into that land that God promised them. And they were missing the fuller picture. They were missing everything. But then we're told, Vayigash Gad and Reuven. And this Vayigash, of course, throws us back to Parshat Vayigash, when Yehuda comes to Yosef. And what does Yehuda tell Yosef that makes Yosef break down? He explains his Areivut. He tells him how he had bound up his soul with his brothers, and he made them one and equal in order that Yaakov should let him go. And when Yosef saw that devotion, saw that he was willing to connect his life with that of Binyamin's and to equate them and to go in order to get back his brothers, that's what convinced Yosef to let him go. And so it says Vayigash here, because then they said, oh, we see, you want an Areivut. Okay, we're going to give an Areivut. We will take this land, but we will not come back to settle it until we have helped each one of our brothers conquer their portion and receive their inheritance. And we bound up our lives and our mission with their mission of conquering their land. And until that is done, we will not go back. And Moshe says, you have to do this, what you said. If you're going to insist on staying Evar Yarden, then do what you said, do not veer for it, or you will have sinned to God. And that's exactly what Yaakov, what Yehuda said to Yaakov when he promised Yaakov that he would return Binyamin. He said, if not, I will have sinned to you for all time. And that was what let Yaakov let go and let him go, because he saw that the seriousness, he saw the equating brother for brother, and how important that was and how that means everything. And that was the convincing tool that Reuven and Gad were able to convince Moshe that they can stay on the other side of the Jordan as long as they tied up their purpose, their lives with that of their brothers, and that they were going to have this Areivut, and that they were going to make their mission, and they would not return until that was done. And that is the most important thing in order to keep our nation together, because unless each one feels like their life cannot be full unless the other one is settled, then that is not connecting in the way that our nation is meant to connect. We have to feel and stand up for one another with our own lives, and we can't stay settled in another part of the world without binding ourselves in the safety and security of one another. And that is the most important thing, as Moshe reiterated. And so we should always remember that, even if we live in a far distance from one another, we're one nation, and we should not rest if the safety and security of our brother is at jeopardy. And that is what makes us a nation, to look out for one another, to fight for one another, and to be there for one another. Shabbat Shalom.